What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Every Week We Follow. I can finally say another one. Come on.
Oh,
Yes.
dear.
Finally,
Mate, third in the
Villa
Premier League.
win a league game at home.
Points.
50 points. 50 points. That is crazy. But finally, Villa have stopped the rut. We've won a game of football and we've won it at home as well. And a clean sheet, which I can't think there hasn't been many, if I'm honest. I mean, to be honest, under Unai Emery, there hasn't been that. I don't feel like we kept that many clean sheets, but absolutely brilliant. Like, so happy with that. I don't think the performance was wildly brilliant, but at this point with that game, we just had to win it. We just had to win it.
Mate, yeah. Look, I think at this point now, like, obviously we'll get into the game and we can critique it and stuff, but it's all about results, right? Has to be. Like, this is the dead end of the season. There's 12 games to go. Doesn't matter how we win. It's just about winning. Like, I think Tyrone Mings summed it up in his interview post-match. He was like, fine lines, man. That could have easily been 1-0 to Brighton, and we're all kind of having a meltdown. And but as it is, it's 1-0 to us, and we push on. And you go, it's so true. Like, it is just about, like, yes, we, going forward, there'll be people today, like, no doubt, when they lost their minds about the Bournemouth result, going, well, we need to be better if we're gonna finish. And I kind of sit on that fence in the final third. We do need to be better. Like, I think sometimes we are too slow, or we're trying to get to the byline for some reason to pull it back, rather than utilising outside the 18-yard box, which is something we did so well when we had McGinn, Kamara, and Tielemans firing fit. Like, we would literally get teams back to create that space on the edge of the box. Now it feels like we're trying to get to the byline to pick nobody out in the middle.
Maybe that's why. Maybe Emery believes that with this team as it is, without those three, that our best chance of scoring is getting to that byline. Or maybe it was kind of during the game, he felt like we were getting crowded out at the edge of the box, and teams are now trying to close us down really fast. Because
we scored 2 goals in 5 games. Like, look, it's one of those where I thought about it last night in the car journey home, and we were on live, and I was like, 50 points, man. Like, 50 points, third.
We've only played 20. We've only played 25. Is it 25? 26 games.
26 games, 12 to go. Right, 50 points.
You average 2 a game, right?
Yeah.
If you average 2 a game, you end up on 76 points.
Yeah.
So mental. If we can continue that.
Let it sink in. And yes, look, there's loads of things that I want to talk about today in terms of what we need to do to improve that. But on a whole, I want to start off with just saying to all of you before we go in on people and stuff, because there are some critiques that I've got, mate, that's fair to say, right? And that we're in a phenomenal position, and Unai's still doing phenomenal things with what he's got. And the fact that we can win ugly like that, like, it could have easily gone the other way. I think that's a massive, massive result. I do going forward for the next 2 games, because if we hadn't won that game, I don't know, it just starts to feel like we're struggling, But I saw enough yesterday that you go, I can kind of see that we've got quality. It's just what I don't understand is at the moment, and I do struggle to be critical of Unai Emery, but I don't understand the timings of his substitutions and utilising both Tammy and Ollie together, or separately, how we're doing that, if we're going to be serious about pushing on. So either he doesn't trust Tammy at the moment to come on and play more minutes. Like, he played him from the start against whoever it was. Brentford, was he? No. Yeah. Salzburg. Whatever, where he started because Ollie was injured, right? But they both start. They both start.
He hasn't started.
He did. He started. He did. Sure, he did.
Oh yeah, because Ollie was injured. Yeah. It was the first game. It was his first game. Yeah.
I'm not going mad, right?
Yeah, it was Brentford, because he had that goal disallowed. Yeah,
right. It was Brentford. Thank you. So I'm not going crazy. It's just trying to connect all the dots when we have 3 games in a week. He's fucking mental, right? So, and that was like forced upon. And then I didn't understand on Saturday against Bournemouth why he only got 5 minutes. Ollie was ineffective the whole of the second half. And it was the same last night. Like, Ollie did okay first half, little bits. Had a header that went wide, held the ball up okay a couple of times. But ultimately, in the second half, he didn't do anything. And to give Tammy only 15 minutes again, like for me, it's not enough time. Like, yes, you could have him.
I think he came out at 70. I remember looking at the clock and it said 69 when he was stripping off.
Nah, mate, it took about 5 minutes to get him on. Remember, the ball was in play, right? It was like 73, 74 minutes. He came on eventually.
That's one of the rare times in the game that the game didn't stop, by the way.
Yeah.
There was the amount of stopping and like fouls and random. It was just, we'll get onto that.
Yeah, my point is that if Unai can get that balance right of the substitution at the right time, I think it could be a threat. I think at the same, like I've got no problem with Ollie starting because we know before we get into how much I hate Ollie Watkins and all that kind of people come at me. I've got no problem with him starting because yes, he brings something to our team in terms of his running and movement and work rate. But surely the whole point of doing that is to bring Tammy on with like 30 minutes, 35 minutes to go to then finish it off because instantly when Tammy came on yesterday, he's got so much more energy than Watkins. Like in his movement and the hustle and just closing down and kind of, he created a chance for himself that should have been a penalty, which we'll look at in a minute. And you go, just get that right. If we get that right, the balance of our forward play, then we should be okay because we know we've got players coming back. If we can get through these next two games into March, then looks like McGinn will probably be the first one back, and then Tielemans a couple of weeks later. We know we've got those coming back in key moments, and so yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. As always, guys, if you are brand new here, please do hit that subscribe button and turn your post notifications on. And if you do like this content, please do give us a like. We are on the road to 2,000 subs. I think are we on 1,800 now? I think we've
close, mate. We're 9 away from 1,800. I think it's 1791.
Come on, man. Get
9 subs we need.
If you're here and you haven't subbed, just sub. Feel free to unsub after. I just want to hit 1,800. just sub and then unsub later if you want to. That's fine. Well, I want to hit 1,800 within the next week. Anyway,
that would be amazing. Yeah.
The Tammy thing's an interesting one. I think yesterday was a bit different. He did bring energy. You're right when he came on, but we struggled so much to get it to him. I think I do think we've missed. I think it's no surprise. Like we are missing Tielemans and McGinn offensively, right? I actually think McGinn's so huge. I think people underestimate. Like you think about McGinn and the fact that the ball goes into him and he basically takes a player out of the game because he essentially spins the guy or uses his ass, whatever he does. He then runs forward, maybe runs past the player, and he can play a ball. It's because Ollie, Sancho, and Tammy were making these runs, and Dougie on the ball, looked up, and he saw it. He does that thing where when they go to fake to play it, and then they end up play it short. He just didn't commit to it and play it. It's like play that ball, Dougie. That's why you're there. Play that ball. And so that little drop over the top. Sancho had so many times where he was just on the shoulder of the defender, and he'd done him. And I was just like, that ball, drop it in. He just didn't quite get there, and I think that's part of it. But also, Emery, like we've said, he historically takes time to bed players in, especially if they're bought. So obviously, Tammy's not alone. He's a bought player. I think he sees him as someone who can help us out this season in bits, but next season maybe he'll have a bigger part to play. Yeah, because we've got a lot of games. We're still in the FA Cup. We've got that this weekend. We've got 3 fronts that we're fighting on here, and we've got a squad which is threadbare. So, Tammy coming on earlier maybe would have made a difference, but I feel like actually in that game and the way we were playing yesterday, I don't think we would have got it to him. I think that was the problem. It was very hard to make him effective.
I just think from an energy perspective, like when you go through a football match, like it's about keeping the intensity going. And when I can't watch Watkins just do nothing for 20 minutes, what's the point? What? Because he's not going to Watkins, he's not going to create something, he's not doing anything magical. I'd rather have someone that's going to run his ass into the ground and try and make the movement, because eventually one of those balls does go. No, it's the big miss is this is it. So I did this stat when we signed Dougie again, right? And like him and Tielemans side by side in the I think in Premier League 23-24, Dougie Luiz, right? So when we were doing that against Tielemans 25-26, and they are so similar in their attributes, right? Apart from one, right? And it's forward passing, right? So percentage wise, like Dougie's at 21%, right? Just over. and Tielemans is 31%, and 10% in that area is fucking huge, mate. So when we talked about that yesterday,
it's a 50% relative difference. So it's actually half that.
Absolutely. So when you look at those moments, like you say, Dougie Shaw didn't play it. Tielemans plays it. The ball goes, and this is the frustrating thing. Like, I think it wasn't just Dougie yesterday, by the way.
No.
Like, it was Martinez as well. There was several times when Tammy, Sancho, Watkins had made a run.
Why don't we do that, Paul? We never do it
as well. It was
we never do. We tried it once. I think it was like the 80th minute or something like that. And Sancho was running, and he threw it out to him, and it hit Sancho's heels. That's the only time that we tried. Actually, I correct myself there, because in the first half, Emi Martinez did play an absolutely unbelievable ball out to Sancho on the right side.
Yes, yeah.
So it led to a chance, but
so
I don't understand why we don't do it.
But in those moments where you can see it's clear 1-on-1, it's not even that's the ball, and we just hold on for what to retain possession. It was a bit frustrating, and in that game yesterday, particularly where their number 6 was on a yellow card, like that. Surely you just pinpoint it, because if he makes a mistake, he would, obviously we would have hated him to get sent off, because we know we can't play against 10 men. But what happened was, as soon as that number 6 got booked in the first half, because in the first 35 minutes, he was all over Ollie. Fucking, we should have had a couple. He was pulling him, and
they were all over everything. What was going on in that first 30 minutes? I was literally sitting there going, "It's Brighton. Why is this so feist? Why is this so heated?" Weird.
It was weird, wasn't it? They had like 3 yellow cards. They were leaving tackles in. Welbeck was all over it.
It was all over the place.
Yeah, it was interesting. Well, all I can say is it felt like a tactic to stop the ebb and flow of the game. To stop us from actually getting into any rhythm, because I think for the first probably half an hour we were the better side. Like we were knocking on the door. We had some lovely passages of play, but without really penetrating in the final third again. Do you know what I mean? And it's a bit of an issue. Because ultimately we've got to start. I don't know. I say ultimately we still won the game, but as the way football works, as we know, it's all about momentum, right? And it can shift it quite easily. So when you have the momentum, if you can get yourselves in front, like, it just makes a massive difference.
Wow. I mean, I'll tell you what. The second we scored, suddenly everyone was pressing with energy.
Yeah,
I even saw Bailey like sprinting at their players. And one thing, by the way, actually, I want to address, because obviously me and Sam touched on it before when we had our post Bournemouth match review. The atmosphere yesterday was decent.
Yes.
There was noise. It was, people were singing. It was loud. And then once we scored, it was very loud. But it was, even before that goal, people were chanting. There was almost always some kind of song going on. I don't think there was very many lulls of quiet.
I agree, and I think this is the difference between day games and night games. I think whatever it is, people, maybe have a bite to eat, a couple of beers before the game, right? But in that second half, when Brighton were getting on top, right, it was great. There was lots of like choruses being sang of, small league get battered, every week we follow. It was Unai Emery's Cowboy Army. Like, I felt like, and that was great. And I think I think it had a difference, mate. I think it kind of got us over.
I think it made a difference. I think the players felt it.
Yeah, and so we've got to maintain that. We've got to get the Villa Park rocking, and we know how difficult that can be. But yeah, I think we've got to give credit to the fans yesterday. I think, and even Emery said it after the game. I think he felt they felt that, and I don't know if you saw Tyrone Mings' interview with TNT afterwards, but
I didn't see it. But I was literally going to come on to the goal, and obviously just before the goal, obviously we see Mings go over to Bailey, and honestly, if you haven't seen our short, check out Shorts. It's also on TikTok. Because Gary obviously videos himself throughout the game. So if you do want to follow us, or you want to see those, and you don't manage to go over the games, if you ever want to watch just Gary's face watching the game, so not actually interacting with you at all, but just watching the game, check us out on TikTok and follow us on there, because Gary does it at almost every home game if he can. So Mings goes over to Bailey to talk about it, and Gary's sitting there going, "What are you doing?
What the fuck?
What
the fuck are you doing? Stop cuddling each other and get on with it."
Well, it was, to be fair, because we were all sitting there. I think the entire crowd moaned, because it was like 84, 85 minutes, whatever it was. And we were like, let's get moving. And it's slow. And he was talking. We were like, what are you doing? get the fucking corner in there, get it in. And so, yeah, I saw that basically he'd said all the corners that we'd done before gone to the back post. And he'd basically gone, fuck Austin McPhee, get it into the front post. I'll be there and I'll tell a couple of the guys, but I won't tell everyone because I don't want too many bodies. So he told Rodgers, because you saw Rodgers come and screen. And he said, I'll be there. And he did. And he didn't get to it. He rose and obviously caused the goal. He didn't actually head it. Which is quite funny.
You see, in TNT after he said, I tried to fool the camera.
Are you sure? Yeah, he said, are you sure? You sure it wasn't goal? He said, I definitely felt it on my hair.
Oh, mate, I've watched it back, right, and it still look for me, even from both angles, it looks like he gets a little touch on it. Now, look, it's an own goal because it does hit their player, right? But it's one of those. I think I said probably 10 minutes before we scored, if we could just get a little bit of luck, like a dodgy own goal or something, because it's the stuff that we need. Because let's face it, from the officials, we're getting fuck all, aren't we?
Yeah.
Right. Let's be honest.
Well, let's
right,
that's a lovely segue,
this, mate. Right. So let's bring this up.
Right. If you and now obviously Stills can tell only half the story, but if you actually watch this in real time, he literally shoves him to the floor.
Well,
and if he doesn't shove him to the floor, he's hitting that ball.
Now, from our angle, we're looking behind at Tammy's back, aren't we? So we don't see that, right? If you think about it, and from in real time, it looked like, because it's a good bit of movement. He gets the ball past him, and then it looks like he's just leaning back and probably little nudge fall over. I thought, that's not enough to be a penalty. But I mean, mate, you can't do that. They didn't even look at it, and we have had 0 penalties in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Let us know. There's one other team in the Premier League. Can you let us know in the comments who that is?
Hold on, mate. I was about to let it out then. So us and
one other. If you know, let us know in the comments. And I don't think we're going to get given one, mate. We've had 2, probably 3 stonewall penalties for me in the last 2 games turned down and not even looked at by VAR. I don't blame the referee for this, because I had the same. He probably had the same view as me. He's not going to be able to see that push. But VAR should check it.
VAR should, they definitely
There is no difference between this and the penalty that Chelsea were given against Wolves last week, right? Apart from it was in his back. Now, I don't care what you say. He's going to score there. Right? The way he works the ball,
he's at least going to have an attempt on goal, right? Which is the whole point.
That's the 6-yard line at the bottom. There's nobody in front of him. Right? He's going to
hit it a goal. There's only the keeper. So I don't.
I just at this point,
I'm fed up of talking. I'm fed up about it. I mean, it doesn't matter because we won the game. But if we hadn't won the game, that would have been another big talking point once again.
Mate, at this point, just let them ref it themselves. Do you know what
I mean? Just turn around. You pushed me. No, that was a foul. No, you tripped me first. He pulled my shirt. Honestly, I don't know.
Mate, because I don't. What is the point of officiating? And I'm not just talking about decisions against Villa. There's so many in the Premier League that they get wrong now, and it's inexcusable with VAR. It should be inexcusable, because until they change it to a point where it benefits the game and you get to the right decision, and it doesn't, and it can happen, right? But the way they use it at the moment to pick it apart, and it's all whoever's in that fucking Stockley Park, fucking with blindfolds on, right? It's human error. They're fucking it with human error, and it's so subjective because it's like, no, that's not enough. That's not enough contact. Or
that's the thing, isn't it?
It's all
that's the thing, though. It's all subjective, because you'd probably even be able to get, like, I don't know, 10. Well, actually, if you probably got one fan, that'd be an interesting thing for analysis to do. If you got one fan from every club in a room, and basically got them to look at all the VAR, these VAR controversies.
That's a brilliant idea, mate. Yeah.
I don't think you get unanimous. I don't think you get, like, everyone saying the same thing. It's subjective. It is. And, like, with that, I think that one for me is more obvious, but then some might go, no, he's gone down too easily. He was already going down, and that's the problem with it. And that's why there's always going to be this controversy, because one day a ref might think, and then the next day a different ref thinks, not sure about that, actually. And so, it's frustrating. I just can't be asked to talk about anything to do with acronyms anymore.
Fuck
Any
VAR!
Yeah, fuck VAR. But obviously, that win yesterday, at the time when the game had finished, it did put us 10 points clear of Liverpool. Unfortunately, Liverpool did manage to grind out a win. Very professional win. First team to beat Sunderland at the end of the season, by the way. Frustrating, but 8 points clear. 8 points clear. And we're now 5 points clear of Man U as well, which I'm so freaking happy about.
5 at United, 6 at Chelsea, 8 at Liverpool. Right? It's
just to say, all 3 of them to play, by the way.
Yes. And that's what, mate, you just took the words out.
All in our own hands. It's all in our own hands.
So, which is why the next 2 league games are huge. Right? Leeds and Wolves, absolutely huge.
The next 12 games are huge.
Well,
I think every game is massive now.
What I'm saying is, if we don't get results against Leeds and Wolves, the rest of it becomes a moot point. I think it's difficult to, you don't go into those games thinking we can win. If we win those 2, it's in our hands. And you go, we could beat Chelsea at home. We won't beat Man United at Old Trafford because we just never.
Well, this is the thing. If we win I'd actually say if we win those 2, we can afford to draw both of the Chelsea and Man U games.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we don't lose any ground.
It
so
gives
I'm kind of like
leeway, right? Yeah. So it's in our hands. And I said this at the start of the game yesterday in my analysis that this is down to now the desire of the players and how much they want it. It's fuck all to do with anything else because like we're at the business end of the season. This is about how much do you want it? How hard are you willing to work with the fit players that we've got? Yes, I know we're decimated and we can talk about that all day long. And yes, of course, it's affected us, but we can't do anything about it. So until they're back fit, fuck all. It's pointless going on. If we'd had Tielemans with X, Y, and Z, right, we just need Dougie to step up and start playing more forward passes. That needs to happen. If Watkins is going to be part of this squad and playing, mate, sort your fucking shit out and start contributing something. Like you've got to work harder. Like yes, you can't do it for 40 minutes or 50 minutes. You've got to work harder. God, this has been drilled into Ava at like a level about work rate and thinking it's 90 minutes of putting your fucking your head on the line. How much do you want it? Now, obviously, I'm not stupid. Like if players are down tools or not down tools, but aren't in it up here, right? And there's numerous reasons why Ollie might not be, or Dougie might not be, or Tyrone might not be coming back from injury and all that kind of stuff. That's where the magic of Unai has to come in, of getting these players to believe, and whatever the outside noise is, us having a go at players or whatever it is, because they're only human. Can we not even raise it a level, but can we just get to the levels that we've shown this year in that 11-game run? That's what we need to do. It's not about
we don't need it in every game.
And we don't need it in every
we
game.
Probably we need it in like half of them.
Yeah.
I genuinely reckon 5 wins, maybe 6 probably does it.
Yeah.
I think.
Champions League, baby. Here we come.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can't wait. I can't say I can't wait because we're not there yet. But I'm so.
Mate, I'm already excited. New shirts coming out, all claret. Champions League badge. Yeah, boy.
Come on. Right. Anyway, one thing I wanted to also highlight yesterday is, especially 1-0s. They're won from scoring, but they're also won from that clean sheet, right? And we talked about the clean sheet and how important that was, because if you don't get that clean sheet, you don't win the game.
No.
That save from Emi Martinez, mate. I've seen it back. I watched it at the ground, and I sat there and went, "What a save!" And Pete was like, "Did he touch it?" I was like, "I am 90% sure he touched it. I think if he doesn't, it's dipping in." And he's knocked it onto the bar. And then, mate, the more you watch it, I'm like, that's what you miss if you lose him. Because I don't think Bizot's doing that.
No. Well, look, I think this is the Asian debate. Like Martinez in the last probably 4 weeks has made some unbelievable saves, mate. Unbelievable saves, and kept us in games. And look, we were saying yesterday, because he was even shaky in the air yesterday for whatever reason, something that he's been usually solid at, he's gone a little bit weak at, like being muscled off the ball, and he's cost us goals. But Bournemouth game yesterday, that save, like you go, well, that's as good as a goal, right? It's as good as a goal. That strikes in unless he gets his fingertips to that and pushes it on the crossbar. He's got no right to save it. And you're right, I don't think Bizot makes those saves. not yet anyway. And we come down to, will we keep him in the summer? I think it's going to be really tough to keep him, particularly if we win something this year. I think he wants to go anyway for whatever reason. Maybe it's money, right? And we can't, he's on 150k a week. If someone's offering him double that, or particularly if he has a good World Cup with Argentina, which we know he will, right? So it's going to be really tough to keep him, and we need to, unfortunately, be punished because of the restrictions. So that way, actually getting him off the wage bill will be huge for us. But and we talked about it on the show the other day, didn't we? Like, maybe it has to happen for us, but if he can go out with a bang for us and get us over the line, mate, then he can go with my blessing.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. Like, I think if you made some kind of what's that big mountain thing in America where they had the heads, Mount Rushmore. We had our own like Mount Rushmore. Be like, you probably have Jack Grealish on there. You'd have John McGinn. You'd have Martinez. You'd have Ashley Young. Like,
yeah,
he'd be one of them. One of them.
Also, remember, yes, I know I just said he goes with my blessing. I mean, he goes with or without my blessing as well. I don't
think he gives a shit about your blessing, right?
Gas every week we follow says I can go. I'm up. That's man in the coffee.
Oh God. Yeah. Oh, also one thing I wanted to mention is obviously everyone. Thank you so much for your support. Obviously, we're saying we've got like going on the way to 2,000 subscribers. We love all the comments. We get loads of interaction. We get banter and stuff. We obviously did our drive time yesterday on the way to the game live, and that was quite funny. That was just quite funny. Us trying to work it on that tiny little screen you were working. But like
comments were so.
No, it was interesting. We had a fan come up to us as well outside the shop. Just for getting some sweets and stuff. And I was so confused. If you are watching. I don't know who it is, like in the comments, because I don't think we asked, like, oh, who? Like,
he's dropped me a message, mate. I've got to send you the
okay, cool.
Great to meet you guys. You guys are so down to earth. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, really nice guy. But at first, I was so confused. I was in the shop and he was like, "You all right, mate?" And he shook my hand, and I was just like, "You're all right?" And I was like, "Is it like
school?"
Yeah, I was like, "Is he an old school friend?" I kind of like looked at him. I was like, I feel like I maybe recognise you. Oh yeah. I was like, I can't. Yeah. And then when Ava like came in and was like, "Oh, he's out here," and it was like Gary, and I was like, "Oh, it's a YouTube thing."
Yeah.
Because obviously I generally don't get that because I don't think as many people that watch YouTube go to the games or spot us and stuff. So you get it a lot because obviously you got all the followers on TikTok and they're all at the game. There's loads of people, so you always get loads of people. No one bats an eyelid. No one gives a shit about me. So the fact that this guy came up, I was just like, I'm so confused. Yeah, really nice. Really nice. So well, if you do see us, do come up and say hi.
Yeah,
we are more than happy to have a photo or chat or whatever. Just chat crap. You can have a chew it. It's all good, mate.
It's all love, right? It's all nothing but love, and I think it's nice, mate. I just trying to keep it real, right? That's what we've always said. And we'll continue to do that. It may mean we never blow up to a point of 30,000 subscribers, but I'll take doing what we're doing any day of the week, mate, because I think it gives us a bit more leeway to be a bit more just blasé about stuff rather than trying to be
it's just fun
media pundits.
But yes, so next thing I want to go on to Lamar Bogard, right back.
Bogarde.
Is it Bogarda? Bogarde? Bogarde?
Bogard.
It's just Bogard, but even the announcer guy, he's I've heard him say Bogarda, Lamar Bogarda, and he's also called him Lamar Bogardi. And then there's obviously Lamar Bogard, which is what we've been calling him forever. So, by the way, have you noticed he started? The announcers also start. I mean, obviously you haven't noticed recently because he's been out. Yeah. He calls him Camera. Maybe Boubacar's name is actually Boubacar Camera, which is what all the commentators say. And I'm always like, it's Kamara. But apparently the announcer said Camera, so don't know.
Fucking hell.
I don't like it. I don't like Camera. That's one of these.
Yeah.
I like Kamara. Kamara's way better. But yeah, what do you think, Lemar Bogard? Right back?
Mate, I said to you, didn't I, in the car, that when the lineups came out, and I saw no cash and he went right back, and Matoma started. I was like, "Fuck!" Right, because Matoma was their biggest threat, and I have to say that Bogard he was my man of the match. I thought he handled him pretty well. There was a couple of times in the second half where he got absolutely skinned, right? But I guess that's natural. But his recovery from it was pretty good. And even when they brought Minter on after Matoma went off, again, another pacey threat. I thought defensively, Bogard was excellent. Like, he was everywhere. He won headers. He nullified most of what that threat was down the left-hand side from Brighton. I just think it's a shame that he's not as good as Cash. It's a bit like the Dougie and Tillman situation. Going forward, that he's not quite as good, and he looks a bit lost, and there's no end product there. And to be fair, Cash didn't have that last season. It's only this season that he's really pushed on with it. So something for him to develop. Bogard's still young. The fact that he's versatile enough to go and do that against arguably some of the paciest wingers in the Premier League. So buzzing for him, mate. I thought he was my man of the match personally. I think to play out of position, and I think on top of that, against Brentford, he was awful at right back. Honestly, he kept giving the ball away. He just had a bad game. But you've got to give the guy flowers where it's due, and I thought he was absolutely excellent yesterday.
No, I agree. I think he played really well. I think you could see, especially in the second half, they'd identified and go, right, we're going to try and target that left-hand side. That's where they were constantly going down. And I thought he did really well. I think even Bailey, when he came, I thought he was tracking back quite well. The thing about Bailey at the minute is like we said, he didn't. There was that moment, wasn't there, where we were talking with Chris in front of you. It's just like, why is he there? And he's not made that run there. Literally, why is he not busted gut to get up that line? He's just too deep. I don't understand. But I suppose that would have been Cash would have made that run.
At that present moment, mate, there's nothing more infuriating if you've played football, right? When you've got the ball and you're running towards somebody, right, and you can see the space where you want to play the ball, and the guy just stands still. Right,
they're like standing here going,
mate, I'm running towards you. You need to move out of space. Fucking move. Right? Why aren't you moving? Right? That does my head in, right? Because what Bailey's saying there is, I don't want to make the run. I want you to give the ball to my feet, right? But it's a fucking pointless pass. And what you end up doing, the player who probably ran 50 yards with the ball, then has to make the run. And actually, it should be Bailey dropping his shoulders, spinning in behind. That ball should be played, and he would have been in. And I don't understand. Either he doesn't see the run, or three things: he either doesn't see it, he's lazy, or he's been told not to do it.
Not to do it. Don't commit. Don't overcommit.
Don't commit. So it's a bit frustrating though, because in how tight it was, I think it was still 0-0 at that point.
It was still 0-0, yeah.
Right. That he'd have been in on goal. Like they pressed forward. If he'd have made the run, he would have been through on a clear run on goal. And those are the key moments, right? And surely Unai sees this. And I know that we're a possession-based team, but sometimes we, particularly since this midfield's been out, like, there's been so many occasions when the ball has been there to be played. And I felt for Ali in the first half, because a couple of times he made 2-3 really good forward runs, and the ball just didn't come.
Well, this
is
what we're saying. Him, Sancho, they were, and even Tammy, when he came on, they were making them runs, and they weren't getting picked up.
Yeah. So surely, I mean, maybe I'm being naive here, right? But they're training week in, week out, regardless of who's fit, right? That you are looking for that movement. Surely the midfielders should be looking for that movement from your strikers to
this
play
is what
that
I said. This is what I said, though. I saw it whenever it happened. I think generally it was Dougie or Onana generally on the ball. Sometimes Rodgers. Rodgers actually would play that ball. Yeah. Like if Dougie was on it, he looked up, he saw it, and he kind of faked to play it.
Yeah,
and then just kind of he saw this like kind of on his face, like shit. I should have played that one. And I mean, Dougie yesterday. Let's get a bit onto Dougie. I think he had a bit of a mixed game yesterday. I think there was some of the things that kind of reminded me of the things that sometimes frustrated me.
Yeah. Well, let's make it to us. Because first half, I thought he was good. And he was really
the second half.
And he cleared up, but second half.
Some of the decisions he was trying to make, or like, that little pass, he didn't play it, or he tried to take on 2-3, and then he take on a fourth player. I'm like, why? Pass it.
And he tried to do that.
He tried to do that flick, mate. And I was like, that was the worst thing to do, because literally he'd carved open our midfield. We were pushing forward, and he loses the ball. and they're flooding because he's just beaten 3 players, right?
Yeah.
So they're behind him.
Yeah.
So now he's lost the ball. Now there's 4, 5, 6 running at. I'm just like, oh my God, that's the worst time to lose the ball. And it's those little things he does it. And then he does that thing, doesn't he, where he's like, like this. I'm just like, forget fucking moaning about it. Get back and get that ball. And he just does that thing. It's just straight.
The one moment that made me laugh, I think it was first half, when he was defending the corner against Lewis Dunk, and we were like, why are you marking Dunk? And they were,
mate, when he went down.
Yeah.
He's like, he pulled my arm.
Oh, Mings tried to go over and move him and go, look, I'll mark Dunk, and you go and stand. We should have been the way anyway. I don't like the way we set up again in set pieces where we do part zonal marking and we leave Mings and Conza free. Mate, please don't let fucking Douglas away, because from that, you remember you said, right, Dunk made a run and Dougie's went to pull him. If he'd have gone
Dougie's
down,
not looking at the ball. Dougie's not looking at the ball. He's looking at Dunk and he's going like this. He's going, all this shit. I'm like, what are you doing? And then, literally grabs him. I was like, Dunk goes down. It's a pen. It's a pen all day. I was amazed Dunk didn't go down.
Just let the, to be honest, probably, mate, he's just a natural centre half. He's a strong player, and I quite like Lewis Dunk. But I would be saying, let Conza and Mings mark the big guys, right? And let the, if you're going to do that, and let the other midgets, kind of small people, like look after the rest. Sorry,
definitely uncensored on every week we follow, isn't it? Fucking hell, fucking midgets marking other fucking big players. It's like Spinal Tap. Have you ever seen that film?
Yeah,
you seen that film Spinal Tap where it's like
I'm sorry, I do apologise. That wasn't
just a quick one because it cracks me up, and it's one of my favourite scenes in any film ever. If anyone hasn't seen Spinal Tap, it's this like kind of a parody thing about a rock band in like the 80s, whatever. And so they're like, Led Zeppelin style kind of guys, and it's ridiculous. And then they want this they have this song called Stonehenge, and they want this giant Stonehenge to be made. And he writes down a napkin. It's meant to be 7 or 8 foot or 9 foot by 5 foot, but he puts 2 lines. So it's 7 foot, it's 7 inches by 5 inches. So it's little. So what the fuck are we gonna do with this? So they lower it down in the middle of they're playing this set, they're playing this gig, goes down. What they do to make it look bigger? These little midgets,
little people. Don't call them.
Sorry,
midgets.
Is it what? Can you say dwarfs? I don't know PC terms. I don't know.
Yeah,
little people come around and start dancing around it.
Cancelled, mate. Oh,
mate, it's one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen in anything. Look, we don't mean any malice by it. It's just a very funny scene in a film. But yes, go on. Yes, corners. Austin. What's the deal? I think we're actually still we always talk about us being one of the highest converters of set pieces and stuff. I think we still are this season, by the way.
Madness, mate, because all I ever see is just we have a set piece and we end up conceding a corner against us or a throw-in against us in our edge of the 18-yard box. We're just so wasteful with them. Look, but ultimately we scored from a set piece. So, which I think
we didn't score. It was an own goal. So we didn't technically score it, but fine.
Yeah, but the ball from Bailey was excellent. It was the first one that was right on the 6-yard box. Like keeper can't come into a crowd of players. That's what you get. It was a brilliant delivery. It really was. So Bailey gets an assist, I guess, right for the OG. And we still need to see more from Bailey. I still feel kind of like we've talked about that run. That come on, mate. We need that extra mile. Put it in. We're talking. We are 3rd in the Premier League, for crying out loud. 3rd. It's. I mean, there's still enough games to go where we could win the league. Obviously, I don't think we will. But what I'm saying is,
mate, if Arsenal don't beat Brentford, or Brentford do what Brentford have been doing, and they manage to win that game, mate, all of a sudden, what's going on?
3 points, Man City off them,
It's back on.
So,
mate,
big game tonight.
Yeah, obviously we shall see. Obviously this weekend it's FA Cup football. Gary will be doing a preview with a Newcastle fan. Yeah, John. He's from I can't remember the name of their podcast, but it's quite big. It's quite a big Newcastle one. He came on last season for the Newcastle preview as well.
He did.
We'll talk. Gary will be talking to him. That'll come out probably tomorrow evening, I think tomorrow evening. So it'll come out Friday night, and then. or Friday in the day, probably actually.
I'll get it out as I can Friday, because it's the game started.
We'll be out Friday talking about that. Obviously, we'll talk more in depth about the FA Cup, but early gut feel of what we do about the FA Cup. What do we do here? Because it's fourth round. There's a fifth round.
Do you know what, mate? There's one thing we haven't spoke about, which I wanted to mention, was the young kid Aston. So, and this leads into, it was so good to see him make his debut. I'm convinced that Morgan Rogers' dad flew to Brazil on holiday 19 years ago, right? Because, mate, that kid not only looks like him, but moves exactly the same way. It's like they've got the same DNA. Like, to the way he moves his arms. I was like, a couple of times, I was like, is that Rogers? No, it's 47. That's Alisson. But, mate, I know
what you mean. There is, in the look of him, there is a little bit of a twang of Morgan in there.
Mate, I'm telling you, it's unreal. It's more. I'm DNA test required for Morgan Rogers' dad. I bet he's going, I thought I'd never get found out, right? But I thought he brought energy when he came on. He tracked back really well. He got to the byline a couple of times, and there was a couple of little flicks that he did.
Massive, isn't he?
Yeah, big lad.
I didn't know he was that big. I didn't know he was that big.
Rogers 2.0, I would absolutely love him to get a start on Saturday against Newcastle in the FA Cup. I'm personally, and as much as I want to win a trophy, and as much as I'd love Villa to win the FA Cup, right? Because it does have a special place in my heart, the FA Cup. But I am, from when I was a kid and the days that it used to be like, I guess what the Americans have for the Super Bowl, it used to be a day for me. Whoever was playing in the FA Cup final, we watched it as a family. We'd have people round. It'd be like a party day. So that'll always be close to my heart. But ultimately, what I care most about is the stability of this football club, of being able to compete in the higher echelons, competing for Champions League and league titles. And to do that, I think we need to let this one. I mean, I'm not saying don't go out and compete, but change, rest players, give people time to recover, give the kids a chance to go out and have a go at Newcastle. If we get through, brilliant. If we don't, then we've got the Europa League and the league status at this point after last night's victory is what is the crucial thing for me. I just don't want us to get dragged down with more injuries, dragged down with more fixtures when we don't need them. Do you know what I mean? At a point where we're so close to greatness.
Yeah, because by the looks of it, I think I was just thinking, by the time, because the games come thick and fast now in the FA Cup. I think if you win, I think there's another one in like a week or so, and then the quarterfinals will be on the 28th. So I'm kind of like, at what my question was going to be, at what point do you kind of go, okay, actually, we need to field a strong team in this tournament?
In the final.
So you're saying rotate the team until well, I was just looking at it. I was just going, I think so the semi-final is on the 7th of March. And by that point, I feel like it should, unless I'm tempting fate here, but unless like Liverpool and Man U and Chelsea win all their games and we lose like 4 of our next 6 or something, by that point, it should be fairly clear if we're pretty much getting Champions League football. So I think if it gets to that stage, if we rotate our team and we manage to get through somehow to the quarters or semi-finals, well, probably the semi-finals more than quarters because the quarters are only a couple of weeks. By that point, we should have more players back as well. That's probably the point, isn't it? So if we get that semi-final, then we're like, right, we're going to field a strong team because it's something to win. We haven't won the FA Cup in most people's lifetimes who are now alive.
Not in 57. That's the time we won it, mate. So that was the year before.
That's what I said. Most people, some people might be like 80, 90 watching this, majority of people's lifetimes. So at that point, you're like, go all out. And especially if we're in the Europa League. Oh, yes, difficult, isn't it? Mate, I said this to you yesterday on the drive time. And I find it's bonkers. If anyone's still watching here at 44, if you haven't watched the drive, do go and watch it. Because we did talk about some stuff on there. It's mad. We could theoretically, completely like blue sky thinking, will never probably happen. We could theoretically win a treble this season. Right? Theoretically, or even or actually, more conceivably, perhaps a double, the FA Cup and the Europa League, right? And if we won those 2 tournaments, we can't fucking spend next summer.
Yeah.
We'll be in the Champions League for the 2nd time in 3 seasons.
Yeah.
We'll have won 2 trophies, a European and a domestic, and we can't spend in the summer without saying about it. What the fuck is going on? Like, honestly.
But this is what we need to keep in mind, mate, because we have to spend a little bit, but it won't be anywhere near what we should be.
Anywhere near. Like, maybe, I think we'll probably have about 30, 50 million to spend max. It's not like we can, and even then, we're going to have to reduce the wage bill.
Yeah. Which is why people will leave, mate. There's going to be a little bit of a clear out in the summer. I've no doubt about that. Right? Digne, Martinez, Watkins, maybe. Saying that, I don't know who's going to buy Watkins. I mean, this season he's not exactly put himself.
I think he's still got the credit in the bank. I think if you ask majority of fans or majority of people outside of Villa, they still rate him highly. And his numbers this season are still okay. Like, he has scored 8 goals, I think, which is kind of up there with the majority of the kind of better strikers in the league. So, he's not your 60, 70, 80 million or whatever, but probably commands a 30, 35 mil, I would say.
Yeah, I'm not saying he wouldn't, maybe a newly promoted club could snap him up. Do you know what I mean? Something like that. Like, I think he's getting to Danny Ings territory now, where he's just kind of, going to have to go down a level, right?
Well, but I mean, someone like an Everton potentially, or someone like that, or if he's happy to be a backup somewhere, rather than staying, and we want to sell him and we want to make some money on him while he's still worth something, then he could, could potentially go to, like, I don't know, Man U or whatever, like, as a backup striker.
Well, maybe. Look,
Arsenal like Gyökeres, mate, and they don't even play him, so it's like,
mate, I'd happily keep Watkins, but I want him to be a backup. Yeah. I don't want him to be the main striker anymore. I think we need something different. But I'd keep him as backup for sure.
Also, because I think if you rest him and he's rested, then maybe actually he comes on in those games and he does what he does, but he's got more. But I mean, what was it?
If he's carrying injury, get that sorted, man. Do you know what I mean? If you need surgery, get it fucking sorted. Do you know what I mean?
Like, cyst on his knee, is it? I think
something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if he can get surgery. I don't know. Or maybe if he does, he's basically out for the season, which means it's a whole year and they start 2. So, like maybe something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so obviously, Gary, we will have the match preview for the weekend out tomorrow. This is going out today at some point. And then we will have we might do a live match. Can you do Saturday night?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, once I'm back from the game.
Oh, it's Valentine's Day. You might have plans, I guess.
Well, I'm doing something tomorrow for Valentine's.
Oh, okay. You're cooking a dinner, innit?
Yeah. So if we do, I could maybe jump on for half an hour. I'll speak to Sarah. Because
I was thinking about getting the lads from the Villa Park podcast maybe on. So, what happened to them is just horrendous. But
we need to get to tell their story, mate. Let's start fucking. We need to want to help them, support them if we can. Yeah,
exactly. Right, awesome. There you go. 1-0. Finally back to winning ways. Gary, do you want to give us your final thoughts and then sing us out, mate?
I do, mate. Final thoughts. You know what? This is a big shout out and a big, massive respect, because I got home last night to the devastating news that James Van Der Beek has died at 48. Now, I don't know if is there any Dawson's Creek fans out there. It's something I grew up with as a teenager. And it's not football related.
Does he?
Yeah, but mate, it genuinely upset me because he died of bowel cancer, and he leaves 6 kids. And like, I don't know if anyone ever followed him, but just a massive family man, like dedicated to his family, as well as acting, and just some of the best moments I had as a teenager growing up with films that he was in and Dawson's Creek. And he's a year older than me, mate. 18 months older than me, and this crazy shit fucking starts to affect me a little bit. Like, so what I'm saying is, like, this is all great. I love doing the podcast, right? But we've got to live in the now, and if you've got people around you that you care about, make sure you tell them. We all get caught up in what we want and what we need and all that kind of stuff, but like, it's the little things that count. I just read a post from Van Der Beek's wife before we came on, just saying, this last week watching you go has been really the most difficult week of my life, but just watching the sunset with you, talking about the memories that we've created and all that kind of stuff, that is the that's the real shit, man. Like, I know that's a bit soppy and fucking thing, but that's what life's about. So, look, if you know anyone that's been struggling or has struggled with cancer or fighting it, like, just let us know in the comments, man. Like, it's kind of, we're here to support in any way that we can, even if that's just chatting and shit about the Villa that takes your mind off what you're going through, right? It's it just, but life is precious, and I know that's cliche, but just value what you've got, because we always strive for more, right? And it's kind of like, I want the bigger job, I want the better house, I want the better car, I wish I had somebody, or whatever it is. But if you've got people in your life that care about you, just take a step back, look at it, and go, you know what, life ain't that bad, you know. Yeah, well, that's my final thoughts. And Villa win, topped off a brilliant night, really. Doesn't matter about the performance, it's all about the results. 50 points, third in the Premier League, 12 games to go. Come on, you Villa boys.
Come on!
Every week we follow the boys in claret and blue.
See ya.
Peace and love, people.